But my journey of motherhood at least gave me my children legally. Gauri Sawant is still not allowed to legally adopt Gayatri.
Yeah.
When I finally issued a very long comment on it, there were a lot of people from my fraternity showing up in interviews, which I thought was pretty random anyway, saying, we never expected Sushmita Sen to even respond to that. She didn't need to. So the idea is, well, I think it's good that it came to me because then I could define gold digger. Now other women can use it. Now other women can use it because, you know, an insult is an insult when you receive it. I don't receive it. As we speak, I've just completed 4 months since my the stent surgery, and I have done so much work during this time that I feel like it must have happened a while ago because I really haven't had the time to sit down and ponder. Why can't they play any other role?
Or be a woman? Or,
or
a man or whatever.
Whoever.
Hello everyone, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Speak Easy. My guest today is just a true inspiration. She's always the warmest person in the room, the most inspiring, and always a woman who stood up for all the women around her. I'm talking about, of course, the extremely talented and kind Sushmita Sen. Hello.
I'm taking her home.
Please do.
I need to hear this introduction more often.
Everywhere. I mean everywhere.
How lovely to see you, always.
It's always lovely to see you. My best conversations are always with you because you're also someone who is always honest. And trust me, not everybody is. But thank you for being that person.
Pleasure.
And I will come straight to the fact that it's a fantastic trailer.
Oh,
Gali Se Taali. The significance of it is so much, right?
Yes.
Because, of course, you know, Gauri Sawant has gone through so much in her life.
Oh my God.
That I understand the significance of the statement, but I feel like this applies to you as well.
Oh, well said. Because only she can come up with that.
Because I mean, just in one liner, I'll just want to say why I said it, because, you know, you've been an outsider who was fighting against all odds to do it, you know, and you still are fighting in all your ways.
She's beautifully put it. Yes, the fact is, I for one, thankfully have always believed that acceptance follows rejection. Problem is, when you get rejected, people mostly give up.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and if you hold on to rejection long enough, it turns to acceptance. So I think you nailed it when you said, so it has been my journey. And I think so it is yours. So it is everyone's journey. Some are still in the waiting for the Taali. But the Gali phase, we've all been through at one time or another. But it in no way compares to a Gauri Sawant's life. It's been, I often think this, even while playing Gauri, that we always have someone. Ma holo, baba holo, family. I speak to her in Bengali, so I get into a Bengali zone. We always have someone. Gauri had no one. And that's something that even if I try and say, oh, that must have been so difficult, I understand. I don't understand. So that's a tough act to follow. Going through her life and going through the story of so many members of the transgender community. It's an eye-opener. It's been every step of the way, it's been like fuel for me to get this right, to do right by all of them, and especially Gauri, because her story will be told this once.
I know what you bring to this film. And, you know, because you have so much empathy, I would like to have this conversation with you, which I think comes from the other end as well, right? But like I said, I completely understand what a Sushmita Sen can do to this project and how it can travel, because you come on board. But there is always a conversation from the other side saying that why wasn't a transgender woman given that opportunity? I feel like the fact that a woman is finally playing is also a big deal. Because
Yeah,
we've
and
seen in Hindi films that...
I think this is a question best answered by Gauri Sawant.
Yeah.
Because this is not a film or a series on the transgender community alone. This is her life story. And if I was her first choice, for me, that's case closed. And better yet, I think what Gauri Sawant has said in her interviews is actually even truer and more powerful, which is, why should a transgender play a transgender? Why can't they play any other
Anybody,
role?
or be a woman, or a man, or whatever.
Whoever. And therefore, why can't I play transgender? I think the bigger picture is to get... So there's enough, you and I both know that in today's world, with social media, with people's, everyone's a star. Everyone's got a voice, which is good, which is empowering. But the way that voice is being used is to create tremendous discrimination. And that's heartbreaking, because it's the one system I've never agreed with. I don't believe that, for me, I can speak for myself, you can't divide me.
Absolutely.
I have always been very unilaterally inclusive.
Always.
And for me, this was about, can I do justice to Gauri Sawant's story? That was my only most important question, because as a human being, this was an honor. That Gauri even wanted me to play it was an honor. And the person I met and the person I'd Googled before I met her were very different people. And we realized very quickly that her public persona, Gauri Sawant's, is one where she defends, constantly defends who she is and what she stands for. But with me, she surrendered. And the person I met is who I've played in Taali.
So beautifully put. Like, I would like to say again, I completely understand why she would, or anyone would like to see you, because, I'm not taking away anything from Shreegauri Sawant. You've also stood up not just for yourself, for everybody around you. And I understand why someone would want, and you have empathy and the responsibility to do it. So, like I said, the trailer is proof. But putting that aside, it's extremely important also, I feel, to talk about the fact that you're talking about similarities. Both of you have, are mothers who've adopted beautiful girls.
Yes.
And you all are proud of that, because you've changed the narrative that you can only be a mother by birth.
Yes. Yes.
That narrative has been problematic for such a long time. And I feel the empowerment that a lot of women have received after that, saying that it's okay to be single.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be married.
Yeah.
Wait for the right person.
Yeah.
I think your life is testament to that. So little on that.
No, that's actually a very beautiful question, love, because it's a beautiful statement. Because for me, a choice that I made when I was a child, literally when I was 18, 19 years old, and by the time I succeeded at it, I was 24, still a child. There was a turning point in something that felt like this agreed with my conscience. This is why I'm here. This is why I have everything in my life to be able to empower another. But my journey of motherhood at least gave me my children legally. Gauri Sawant is still not allowed to legally adopt Gayatri.
Yeah, it's
and she still does what she does, is be a mother.
Yeah.
Not just to Gayatri. There are so many children of destitute kids, sex workers' children. You name them, they have. All these kids, and she's trying to build this home for them. This is where I feel the privilege of portraying such a character, who people only know as a transgender, who was a man once, is a woman now. But that's not her story. Her story is what Taali is. It's the ability to clap for yourself. Taali is a representation of their anguish and pain. That's why they clap. We wanted to celebrate that clap. Because if you've heard the transgender community, the Hijra community, the Kinnar community clap, you cannot copy that clap. It echoes like a vibration. I know. I shot a scene where I had 60 of them behind me clapping. I had goosebumps. It was difficult for me to sit there and do this shot. There is something there. But at the end of the day, I keep repeating, enough with the divisiveness, enough. There's enough problems in this world with people just constantly dividing.
Yeah.
Ideologies in the name of X, Y, Z, color, beauty, race,
Religion.
money, every religion, everything. It's time to just love for love's sake. And I think if as a human being, you could not at least practice insaniyat, then really doesn't matter what your other background is. You're a human being, you've got to at least practice that.
So well said again. Like I told you when I saw you, it's a relief that you're sitting in front of me, you're doing well after you went through, your heart surgery.
Yes.
And, quickly you went back to work.
Yeah, thank God for work.
Always, of course.
Thank God for work.
But thank God for you and your resilience as well. We must give credit where it's due. And I think it's, people were worried, but I think what you did after that and the way you fought, I think gave them again another, I'm sure it gave me a lot of hope and inspiration that you cannot give up. And
you
panic.
You cannot. See, things happen to people. It is something that will happen to all of us at some point, maybe not this, something else. But jab tak saans chal rahi hai, you have to err on the side of life, whatever it is. You have to keep going back to it, which is why I thank God for work, because I had pending commitments for Taali and for Arya 3, and they were all so kind. They were like, take your time. I'm like, no. This is the benchmark. I have to hit this benchmark. And I started hitting those benchmarks pretty quickly. As we speak, I've just completed 4 months since my the stent surgery. And I have done so much work during this time that I feel like it must have happened a while ago. Because I really haven't had the time to sit down and ponder.
Moving.
Yeah, you have to keep moving. This is very, very important, no matter what.
You said you're not fearful, and I just want to understand that how have you been able to maintain that calm? And this is applying to my other questions as well. She'll come in, but it's wonderful.
I love her questions. Like, first of all, I love those only because she always thinks them through so beautifully. Fearless? Yeah, I think that hasn't changed. It's only gotten more deep-rooted, that understanding. That what has to happen will happen. But it shouldn't the thought of it, the fear of it should not paralyze you from taking action. Then it's okay, you fail. Then you try again. But try I will. And nothing's going to paralyze me from doing that. So I make so many mistakes all the time. But I'm the first one to stand up and say, Koi nahi babu, you're human, it's all right. You made a mistake, moving on, next thing, moving on. I think that's it. You just have to not get stuck in a rut. And fear is a very powerful thing. As long as you feel it temporarily, like in a passing, but it doesn't paralyze you. So when I say fearless, I have fear less.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
But this, again, besides the calmness, there's also always that little sense of humor in the most darkest times that you have gone through.
Yeah.
And you've seen, you've been through slut shaming like every other woman. You've been through sexist comments. You've been through all of that.
Yes.
And yet you voice it out with a certain calmness. You take a stand for yourself. And I'll tell you, and I'm not saying this only to bring attention back to the topic, but I think it was ridiculous that you had to go through that amount of people judging you for the choices you made in your relationships. When someone announced that he was with you and then they called you things like gold digger and this and that. It's a thing in the past, sure, but I want to bring it up because I think it's ridiculous that someone like you has to ever defend comments like gold digger.
Well, I think it's good that it came to me because then I could define gold digger. Now other women can use it Now other women can use it because, an insult is an insult when you receive it. I don't receive it.
I love
so
that.
It went out the window. Yeah, there are certain things that are nobody's business. And I don't need to say it's nobody's business, but I like the word not your business. It's so cool. No, FYI, single as they come, I am. And that is also NOYB, none of your business.
Single, but none of your business.
But none of your business.
Absolutely.
And it's always nice to just put it out there. Yes, I'm very much single.
But it didn't rattle you. And I think that is why I asked this question. Again, because a lot of women face this online.
Yeah.
Men get away with a lot of things, but women are not forgiven for anything easily.
True.
And this is from my own personal experience. And I keep using your reference a lot, forgive me. My mother keeps telling me that when you're getting married, I said, Ato bhalo mohila, you love her. So she's happy.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I had to put that. I had to tell you that.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm a favorite with Mars. All mothers really like me. Because I end up meeting so many people who say, my mother loves you. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you, pal? Why is it only Ma?
I think it's the mother and the daughter, everybody. It's in that way. And
special.
Yeah. And like I said, the reason I brought it up was that also. I think you don't get easily rattled, right? But you make a point. How important do you think is that for women who look up to you?
Very important. See, talking about the same episode, when I finally issued a very long comment on it, there were a lot of people from my fraternity showing up in interviews, which I thought was pretty random anyway, saying, we never expected Sushmita Sen to even respond to that. She didn't need to. So the idea is, my business, I respond when I want, if I want. If I don't want, I won't. But when I believe that it is time to speak up or take a stand on something, I do so. And I hugely respect women, men, people who do that in their own time. Problem is, in the social media days, something happens and here comes the reaction. That's not how I'm built. I take my time absorbing and then I respond to things when I'm ready.
And we cheer for you because you got a lot of love. But thank you. I'm going to end this by bringing the light back to what we are discussing again, which is Taali. It's going to be monumental, this series, because a lot of films, particularly in Hindi film industry, have not portrayed transgender community in the right light. They've been used for comic relief. Cross-dressing has been used as humor. But there has not been given the empathy, or there are not enough films. I won't say no films around that. I was just telling someone that I saw Ranveer Singh dancing on a song in Rocky Rani. Doing a kathak on Dola Re Dola is monumental because it breaks toxic masculinity. How is a man supposed to be? And I feel like this will also show how are you truly supposed to represent a community, which I think our Hindi films have not really been good at. What do you think about that?
I think also the fact that a woman hasn't played a transgender is itself, it's long overdue.
100%.
A transgender playing the role of a man or a woman is also long overdue. It's just time to accept that the times are changing. People have a voice. They have a life. And if you go past their gender identification and the cathartic discrimination that is attached to it, this could be your story, this could be my story. It's a human story.
So true.
So Taali is a representation of a human being's life. It isn't gender-centric and it is not trying to highlight and show mannerisms. In fact, I repeat this again, when you come to watch Taali, watch it knowing that this is the story of one of us. And you will see that you belong in that story. If you watch it as, oh, the poor community, or this community that needs to be at some level. No. Let's begin by giving it an equal viewership, the same respect that we would another human being's life. That's simple.
The wonderful way to end it. Thank you so much, Sushmita.
What a lovely interview.
I love
We
you.
should do this more often.
I know. She's my favorite person. What do you do? But besides that, thank you again.
I love you.
And I promise you, I've loved the trailer and I really hope it travels the way it should. Thank you.
Fingers crossed. Dugga dugga.
Dugga dugga. Lots of love. And you haven't said your favorite thing to me, which I love. Bhalo theko ma.
Oh, you're ending the interview? Bhalo theko ma.
See, when she says that, it really feels, I really feel warm. Thank you once again, Sushmita. Lots of love.